The customer knows what they're looking for, and I think the companies that fail to recognize the customer needs are the ones who are going to suffer the most. So we have noticed a decline in the industry in certain areas. For example, a guitar aficionado, he may buy 5, 6 guitars a year, however many he wishes, and stick them on the wall, use them as kind of living art projects, that kind of stuff. Some people like to put their savings into these things and liquidate them in times of need, that kind of stuff. And we still find that. But when we start talking about younger people, they're not looking at guitars in the same way as previous generations. So for example, I grew up looking at the grunge era in the 90s, and I feel very lucky that I did, because it was immediately after the hair metal thing, and it was immediately after the 70s thing where you had the guitar heroes and the guitar gods, well manicured and perfectly permed haircuts, flashy guitars, that kind of stuff. And previous to that then in the 70s you had the 7-minute guitar solo that everybody stood back and oohed and awed at. But I think the day of the Liberace style virtuoso guitar solo is kind of gotten to an end. People are tired of hearing how proficient people can be on a guitar. It's always nice to see a good guitar player, don't get me wrong, but I think the idea that the guitar player is more of a part of the band than the triangle player or the bass player or whomever, that day is gone. We're all in a democratic environment in bands these days. I've been in Alberta a decade, and I landed just before the bust, and everything was really tickety-boo when I landed here. People were working hard in the oil patch, coming down, buying lots and lots of good equipment. We have noticed definitely there is less money in the province. People are spending money less frequently and in smaller amounts. There are less dollars being spent for sure. But on the flip side of that, what we're noticing is if a guy decides he's buying a guitar, he may decide that he wants to buy pedals, which are kind of like the paints or the colors that are available to color your sound. Tone generators and stuff like that, and the technology market in that continues to grow. So the traditional idea of guitar players and guitar players in bands, in my opinion, and it's only opinion, is when you have that kind of gloss rock kind of thing, that image we have in our mind of those old 80s style bands. But young people in bands now are much more receptive to the blend of both analog sounds, traditional old-fashioned stuff, and modern digital and synthesized sounds. The innovators are the people who are looking at all of the things that are available to them and, for want of a better term, disruptors in the market. All they're doing is they're taking whichever guitar is available to them, whichever sound generators, whichever keyboards, and creating a new wave. Then everyone says, oh, that's such a great sound, and bazillions of people jump on that wave and try to reproduce that sound and to artistically output in that kind of genre or that feel. So we had that new folk movement, the Mumford & Sons thing. Lots and lots of acoustic instruments were sold. People then decided, oh, we want to start blending different things. It's all in the same pie. I don't think people will stop playing music overall. My father gave me a great explanation. He said, as long as girls like rock and roll, boys will continue playing it.